Welcome, everyone. My name is Jem Barone. I work in the Office of Career Services, and I'm joined by my colleague, Bill.
Hi, everybody. My name is Bill Farrick, and I'm the career specialist for the College of Management. So I'm very excited to be here. And we're with Kathleen Meyer. You pronounce it Meyer or Meyer, Kathleen?
Meyer.
Kathleen Meyer, and you can introduce yourself.
Sure, thanks. So hi, my name's Kathleen Meyer. I manage our campus recruiting programs for Sun Life, and Sun Life is a global financial services and insurance organization. And we partner closely with UMass Boston on recruiting for a number of different roles. So I am excited to be here to offer an additional perspective to help you all prepare.
Thank you, Kathleen. So yeah, we're very excited to talk about the Career Expo that's coming up on March 3rd on Handshake through UMass Boston. The event will be from 1 to 4 p.m. And we're just going to talk about what it is, how to prepare. We're so excited to have Kathleen's perspective as a recruiter. She can give you some insider information on how to navigate and make a good impression. And we hope this will be very beneficial to you today. So what is a Career Expo? It is a virtual networking event that links students and alumni to organizations, and recruiters may be looking for interns, volunteers, full-time, part-time positions, and there may be special programs that are available. So right now, I believe we actually have 102 employers who are registered. So there's so much opportunity. It will be taking place on March 3rd from 1 to 4. And at this event, through a handshake, you will get the chance to meet with employers, either individually, one-on-one in a 10-minute session, or as part of a group for a 30-minute session where employers will give you more information about their organization and what they're recruiting for. At the end of the day, employers are coming because they want to connect with you. This is the opportunity to have a conversation and really show employers the value that you're going to bring. And today we're going to talk about how to navigate, how to introduce yourself, and how to really make a positive impression. Just some quick information that's on here for logging into Handshake. There's 3 things to do. So we're going to prep you for this event, but it's really important that you register for the event. So if you log in under Handshake, you want to go to the events section and then career fair. I am going to show you very quickly how to do this so you have the visual, you know how to get in. When you log into Handshake, this is what you're going to see right away. So we're going to go into the events section. And then right up here, the easiest way to find the expo is click Career Fair. And from there, I see UMass Boston Virtual Career Expo. After you clicked registered, you can look for available sessions. You can also just research employers. It's all right here. Again, 102 employers are coming, maybe more if you're going to view this video later, if you're seeing it right before the Career Expo. And you can look. So for example, Kathleen is here from Sun Life. So I say, I want to go and connect with Sun Life after I hear her talking today. Here she is. I can click in, I can look at her sessions, I can pick one that works for me, and then I can confirm it. And then I am guaranteed to meet with Kathleen at 1:10 p.m. on March 3rd. That is the beauty of these career expos. You have a time reserved for you. So definitely come here, add your sessions, and then the day of, you'll have a whole schedule here, and then you can join the video. So just a quick overview, because we're going to talk a lot about how to maximize your opportunity with the Career Expo. But first, we got to make sure you register and know who you're talking to, because all of that matters as you then connect with the employer. Okay, Bill.
So here, like we said, Jen said, it's very important to research the companies that are coming so that you can see what positions they have open, what you're looking for. As you can see, it's Mass General, Creative, Elliott, Rogers and Gray, American Red Cross, Sun Life. You know, there's all these agencies, companies that are going to be there. So you really want to research the company, see if it's how big or large, small company that you want to work, whether you want to stay in Boston or you're looking someplace else, and you want to look at their job posting. So it's very, very valuable to go and review the list of companies. Like Jen says, we have over 102. There's going to be some type of company that you may want to work for. So you want to see what jobs they have So like Jen said in the beginning, you want to register, because if you're really interested in one company that you know is popular, it's best to sign up right away for their one-on-one spots, because those one-on-ones could fill up very quickly for certain companies. So it's very valuable to research it, and really go to their website and read all the information about them, and be able to talk to them.
And Kathleen, I was wondering, with everything that's on this slide, what stands out to you when someone comes into your room and you've noticed that they have done their research?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think even just doing a little bit of research and knowing what type of company you're meeting with. You don't have to know all the details. You don't need to know all the buzzwords for that specific industry. But for example, if you were to come in and meet with me, I usually start off by saying, we only have 10 minutes. What are some of the things that you'd like to accomplish using this time? If you already know what the company does, you can really dive into some deeper questions, and you don't spend all your time just asking basic questions about the company that you could find by doing a really quick search. That's definitely something that is employers can really see. So knowing just the basics, if you were to know that Sun Life is a financial services and insurance company with an office in Wellesley, that's fantastic. And then we can kind of dive into the deeper information from there. In addition to that, I would also, I like how mission is called out here. I think that's a big thing that can set students apart. If you have an idea of some of the things that the company is working towards, some of their mission statements, things that they've called out on their website that are important to them, that also will really set you apart from other students.
Wonderful. Thank you.
So what's very important that you update your resume. Jen and I are here to help, and our other colleagues are here to help, but you want to update your latest classes, your projects and experiences. And you really want to use action verbs. You want to say facilitated, organize, maintain. Two words that I can say that I don't like to see on a resume, and Jen and Caitlin can drop in, is that I don't like to see the words assist or help, because you want to come across as a strong person. You want to have strong words to promote that you have these abilities, that you have these experiences. So, you want to use strong action verbs, and we have it on Handshake. We have a list of strong action verbs, but we recommend that you meet with one of us to sort of review your resume and promote yourself in the best way possible. I would love some input from you, Kathleen, of what you think.
Yeah, agree. Meet with the Career Center and have them help you with your resume. It's really makes a huge difference in making it just organized and really easy to read. You probably always hear that recruiters don't spend a ton of time looking at resumes when you're applying for a position. So we want all the information to be available really quickly, that we can determine the roles that you've had, what you've done, in a really quick way to move you forward in a potential interview process. The other thing that I'll add, I definitely agree with Bill about the different words that you're using. Make sure that every piece of real estate on your resume is used wisely. If you had two different positions and you kind of did the same type of work, find ways to talk about it in different, using different language, using different terminology to really kind of show the breadth of your experience, instead of just repeating the same words over and over again.
That is great advice. And we have a resume handbook that's in Handshake that you can access 24/7, in addition to meeting with a career specialist to maximize that space on your resume. The other piece in career services, these are core competencies that are highly sought after by employers. And oftentimes we'll hear the question, well, how do I put critical thinking skills on my resume? We will go through that with you in career services. So we have, videos. If the Career Expo is coming up, you can't get an appointment right away, use our online resources, but then connect with us after, because you're going to be continually going through that application process. Let career services talk to you about how not only to have these represented on your resume, but today we're going to talk about that 30-second introduction. What do you say? How can you weave some of these in so it catches the employer's attention? And one other piece, as you update your resume, a natural process is to then take that updated resume and have it be shown through Handshake and through LinkedIn. When you sign up for the employer sessions on Handshake, employers will be able to then see your profile. So make it count. Use that hard work you put into your resume and populate those components that are on Handshake and in LinkedIn, and let yourself shine to employers so you can represent yourself in a positive, professional manner. And Kathleen, do you hop on LinkedIn? What kind of tools do you use to research your candidates?
Yeah, LinkedIn and Handshake for sure. So I'll utilize both of those. Something that I find really valuable on both platforms is the ability to add skills to your profile. That helps. If you consider yourself, let's say, to have really strong customer service skills, attach that as a specific skill, because I can see easily that you have that experience and that you feel that that's one of your strengths. So absolutely utilize those. I also think that LinkedIn can be a really great way. Once you update your information, it will be easy for you to network with people with similar interests and backgrounds. For example, if you were to be interested in a position, let's say at Sun Life, and you go on LinkedIn, you can look for other UMass Boston alumni that might work at that company and reach out to them and ask questions about their experience. And that's really invaluable networking that can help prepare you if you have an upcoming interview or you just have questions about the company.
Thank
Great.
you, Kathleen. I'm sorry if I called you the wrong name before. My
Oh,
apologies.
no problem.
The big thing that I just wanted to add of what Kathleen just said was on LinkedIn, UMass Boston has 3 alumni groups on LinkedIn that you can explore those 3 alumni groups and see if someone works in the field that you're going into. So there are 3 alumni groups, which means they're large groups and they have a lot of people working in different fields. So as Kathleen says, it's very important to explore things on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Yeah, such a great resource and such great advice.
So here's something that's very important. You want to come across as strong and confident when you're talking about your 30-second introduction, because really you want to talk about who you are, what you're going to UMass, what your major is, what you're looking for, and what you can bring to the table. You want to promote your skills. And if you've done research, if you worked for a company, you want to make sure that you promote that I did this at this company. And also when you do the one-on-one sessions, one of the things that we always tell you, what we like to tell a student is ask open-ended questions, because open-ended questions creates a conversation, like what type of training will I get? Who will I be reporting to? What will my onboarding training be like? Will I be doing will I be working remotely, or will I be going into the office one day a week? But the 30-second introduction is a way of coming across strong and confidently and promoting your skills. It's not about what the company can do for you. It's about what you can do for them.
Okay, great.
So here is an example, and I'll read it out loud. Hi, my name is Bill, and I'm a junior in the College of Management with a concentration in accounting. I'm looking for an internship for the summer. I have taken financial accounting, and I'm very organized and enjoy working with numbers, and am proficient in Microsoft Office, specifically with spreadsheets. I saw you were recruiting for interns, and I was hoping to learn more about your summer internship program. Boom, you've given them the 5, like who you are, where you're studying, what you're looking for, and that you've taken financial accounting, you're very organized, and you enjoy working with numbers, and you create spreadsheets. So you're giving them all of that very specific information in 30 seconds. So it gives someone like Kathleen information to ask you, well, why do you like accounting? What do you enjoy about working with spreadsheets? So it gives her a chance to ask these questions. But it's good you come across as confident if you're promoting the skills that you have. Because one of the things that I like to say, and Jen and I have, we've had students who are like, I'm looking for an internship, but I don't have experience. But if you've had any type of job or a part-time job, all the skills that you've done in those jobs are transferable. So if you worked at Kohl's doing sales, being a sales associate, maybe when you go to work for a company that deals with client relations, that relates very much to customer service that you did in a supermarket or Kohl's. But would you like to add to that, Kathleen?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one thing that I might also add, if maybe you haven't had experience with something, but you learned a lot about it in a class, that's really valuable information. As an example, I'm right now looking for a human resources intern to join us for the summer. If I were to have a student that, would meet with me and say, I took a course that was specifically focused on human resources, and maybe organizational development. And what I really loved about it was X. Dive into what really attracted you to that particular field, because showing interest and tying in the coursework that you're taking into areas that you're interested in can be really valuable as well, even if you haven't had that experience in a work setting yet.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Yeah, wonderful advice. And we have just one other example here. This one a little bit more on the liberal arts side. So, hi, my name is Jen, and I'm a psychology major at UMass Boston. I'll be graduating this May, and I'm really excited and interested. I'm excited too. I'm excited to talk to the employer, right? If you make a mistake, just roll with it. I'm really interested in community relations and how it strengthens the bond between local communities and businesses. I have a lot of innovative ideas that I know community members would respond to and embrace. And I'm very interested in learning more about the career opportunities posted on your website in community relations department. So again, we're kind of framing your major, your interests, your goals, thinking about what that impact is that you can potentially make through the employer in that position. So now we want to just kind of think about some tips for success while you're preparing that 30-second introduction. So the first one here, say it aloud, you're educated and you're proud, right? UMass Boston, you are going to get your degree. You're going to have your bachelor's degree, or you're going to have your master's degree, or your doctorate, whatever year you are, whatever level, you're going to walk away with a diploma. And employers are looking to recruit individuals who have their college education. And specifically at the Career Expo, they're coming to UMass Boston. They are taking time out of their day because they want to connect with you. So already they're going to be so excited to meet with you. And, just by saying your name and your major, you're already going to start to build that connection. And remember the value behind it, just as Kathleen told us a minute ago, like if there was a project that you did, certain classes, skills, experiences, it all counts, it all matters. And be confident. Only you possess your experience, nobody else. So be proud of that and be excited to share that with the employer, and think of your story. What's the impact you want to make through your work? What's the contributions? You all will contribute something. What do you think is most important based on what you know about yourself, your interests, your experiences, and the value you bring? And then shine bright that day. Remember to make eye contact, use inflection. You can show excitement through your voice by tone and smiling. Those little things go a long way to build rapport with the employer and just help that overall correspondence process. One thing that I recommend is maybe even using a motivational wall, right? We're virtual. No one can see what's behind your computer. You could put some sticky notes on the wall, like whether it's some notes for yourself, but including, you got this, whatever empowers you to know that you are going to have a great day, a great experience with that employer, and provide a wonderful opportunity for that employer to meet you. And you can have notes as well to keep you on track. If you write up your 30-second introduction, maybe take a highlighter and highlight some key skills and words. If you just glance down, it'll jog your memory. There's all things that you can do to really have a positive experience. And then practice. If you have a blazer, a cardigan, professional attire, whatever it may be, you can hop on your computer and maybe even just practice before the Career Expo. Pull up your Zoom account and it could just be you there, but you could be practicing and, check your lighting, whatever you can do ahead of time so it's a smooth process on that day. And I'd love to hear from Kathleen and Bill for additional tips for success.
Yeah, practice is a huge one. So I've used this personally myself. Practice your intro in the mirror, and also time yourself. Sometimes you find that you think it's really quick, but somehow it's been 2.5 minutes where you are kind of just talking. Practice, refine it, time yourself. And if you can practice your intro just by looking at yourself in the mirror, as uncomfortable as it may seem, it really makes a big difference in your level of confidence when you're delivering that to an actual employer.
And I do a confident communication workshop, and I use the Enneagram BRAVE. You got to believe in yourself. You've got to be confident with who you are and what you're bringing to the table. You have to respect yourself and everything you're bringing to the table. And you have to be authentic. If you're first generation, if you speak another language, if you have world experience, that you came from another country and you came here, all of that's valuable. And you validate all that through your education, your experience, and your enthusiasm for the job. So you want to think about being brave, believe, respect, be authentic, and validate everything through your education, your experience, and your enthusiasm, and you'll do well. But it's most about believing in what you have to offer, that you can make a difference. And like Kathleen and Jen said, practice, do it in front of the mirror, do it in front of the computer, but say it out loud. It doesn't hurt to practice several times. Do it in front of a friend, but you want to feel comfortable with how you're promoting yourself, is what I would say.
Yeah. Bill, I love all those points that you made, and I love that brave. I'm going to remember that. And I totally agree. Be authentic, be yourself. That's ultimately what employers want to see. And that's going to allow you to make sure that you're choosing an employer that really fits with your core values and what you're looking for in a company. If you can bring your whole self forward, and you do really well, that's the type of company that you want to continue to pursue.
Wonderful. Excellent advice. So Kathleen, we were actually hoping you could take the lead on this slide because you are the expert. What's a thoughtful
Cool.
question?
Yeah. That's great. So what I would probably say first is, and I know most employers can do this on Handshake, but a lot of employers can add the jobs that they are currently recruiting for. So I recommend taking a look at those, and if there's a role that you're interested in, tailoring your questions maybe to that particular position. A question that often works really well is something, what does success look like in this role? How is success measured? That will help you see, maybe how you'll be evaluated. What would be a successful internship? That's a really fantastic question. I would ask what opportunities there are for learning and development. That's a great question as well. And then I would also, I would ask, what are some of the challenges I might face in this role? What's going to be hard about it? That will, again, prepare you for what's to come and allow you to start thinking about that, because if you do move forward in an interview process, you will already know what some of the challenging things are, and you may have had an opportunity to think about it a little bit. So those are all really good questions. I would also recommend, if you are really interested in maybe what a company's stance is in regards to diversity, equity, and inclusion, or how they support their community, look into that. It's almost always on company's website, and feel free to ask about things related to the company that may not be directly related to the job that you're interested in, but something that's important to you from a values perspective in an employer that you're looking for. So have questions ahead of time. Make sure you use your time wisely, and that you have questions that you want to get answered before your time ends. Because if you're doing a one-on-one session, it goes by so fast, so much faster than you would think 10 minutes would go by.
And it's okay to have a pen and paper right there in
Yes.
front of you to write down what they say. And like, I agree with everything that Kathleen says. It's always good to just think of who, what, where, when, and why, and you want to, because if you ask questions, it appears that you're more engaging, that you really want to have this conversation. You don't just want to sit there and go, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And if they ask you if you have any questions, you don't want to say, no, I'm all set, because that doesn't show that you're engaged or you've done, but it's a chat. I like to say a chat. You communicate, you honor, and you authenticate into your transition. So you're asking them questions because you want to think about working with them. So you want to get basic information. So asking open-ended questions is a way to continue that conversation. So thank you for sharing those good points, Kathleen.
Yeah. And just the last thing that I'll add is when you're closing, be clear on next steps. Ask them, I'm interested in your human resources intern position. What will be the next steps in order to be considered for that role? And they'll tell you exactly what to expect from a timing perspective also. So make sure that you ask about what's next. And then if they ask you to follow up or complete an application, make sure that you do that really timely after you meet with them. That way you are still fresh in the recruiter's mind once your application is submitted through the correct platform.
Wonderful. Great advice. And yeah, following up is so important. So find out what those next steps are. Do we have a question in the chat?
No, but I would just add, make sure that you get the person's email. So after that 10-minute session, you send a thank you note within 24 hours. Don't wait 3 days, because they could be doing 3 career fairs in 3 days. So send that, and we'll cover that, I believe, it a little bit more, but I just wanted to bring that up now. Go ahead, Jen.
Great. Awesome. So testing your technology, one big piece with Handshake Google Chrome is the browser that you want to use. So make sure you have that downloaded, whether you have a Mac, a PC. That's the browser that is going to work the best and cause the least amount of technical issues. Test your audio, test your camera. Make sure in Chrome that you have given Handshake permission to use your audio and your camera before you log on. And if for any reason you need a virtual background, there's some right on the UMass Boston website. And I see some here today, which is awesome. So it's great to do these little steps to prepare so you don't have to stress out on the day of. You're ready to have a smooth process. And if it's a noisy environment, if you have the ability to have a headset, sometimes that helps as well. And also, one thing I'll say, career services on the day of the Career Expo, we will have a help center in Handshake. So just like you would register for the employers, you can join career services in a group session if you're having any difficulties, and we can walk you through those difficulties, and that's in Handshake. Okay. So organizing your materials. After you've worked so hard to get your resume ready, save it as a PDF. This will hopefully help to ensure that nothing happens on the other end. So I have a Mac and I don't want anything to happen when someone on a PC opens it. So saving it as a PDF will preserve your good formatting that you've worked so hard to achieve. And then just as Bill was saying, have your paper for notes, your 30-second introduction, just anything that you want to reference right in front of you. Kathleen, is there anything else you recommend for students to have around them as they get ready to join you in an employer room?
Yeah, so I think having your resume can be really helpful. Any notes that you want to make sure that you share, even if it's helpful for you to really think about what your objectives are after you're speaking with each employer and kind of writing those down. That way, when you're ready to close, you can kind of double check and make sure that you accomplished everything that you wanted to get out of that time. The employer is meeting you, wanting to get to know you, but you should really make sure that you're getting to know them as well, and that you're getting everything you want out of your time with that employer.
Awesome. Thank you.
So it's important to dress for success. As you can see, I'm wearing a nice jacket, a nice tie and shirts. Do I have pajama bottoms on the waist down? Yes, but you want to dress as professional as possible so that they see. You may get a job with a company where they say you can dress casually, but if you're going to be in, this moment with a representative, you want to look professional. Ladies, you want to wear a nice blouse, nothing too low cut, but you want to come across as professional when you're meeting them. So, gentlemen, a nice shirt. Please make sure. I've seen guys who have been in suits and it looks like they've slept in the shirt for 3 days because they haven't ironed it. So make sure that you look presentable, no backward hats, not a lot of jewelry on. You want to come across as very professional when you're meeting with them.
Great. And there's some visuals that we found.
And you don't always need a tie, but you want to look very professional. No sweatshirts that say UMass Boston. You really want to promote that professional look.
Yeah. And then, for if you don't have a blazer, if you have like a really nice cardigan or a nice sweater, just something that you feel like I would love for an employer to see me wearing this because I think it represents my professional image. And, we can definitely talk with you. And, as things progress and get better, there's always ways to build a professional wardrobe over time. So it's not such a big sticker shock when you start to do that. And we can talk with you about that in career services.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. So during the Career Expo, be sure to show up. So here's the thing. I know you are all so busy. There's so much going on. So I would recommend a timer in your phone because you were taking the initiative now to sign up, but make sure you show up. So I know how easy it is to get mixed up with what day it is when you're in the midst of things, especially before spring break. Some faculty members have their midterms going on. So definitely set a timer in your phone, in your calendar, put that sticky note on your wall so you remember to join your session. So have a copy of your schedule. when you enter the virtual room, so if it's a group session, there will be other students in there. If it's under 15 students, you have the ability to have your camera on. If it's over 15 students, Handshake takes the camera option off to preserve the bandwidth. So, essentially though, when you have the ability to have your camera on, let your professional presence be known, but also make sure that you use the raise hand function. So you have your turn to speak, the employer has their opportunity to share, and you have a nice balance. And then use that 30-second introduction. Let your skills shine, let your experience shine. And if you use the chat option, double check spelling, grammar, make sure it is professional, looking into the camera as best as you can, to make that eye contact, and being confident. I love Bill's brave. Take that and take that essence and really let that shine through. And then sitting in a chair. So right now I have a twisty chair and I'm very tempted to twist it. So however you can to kind of make yourself stationary, being mindful of body language. If you're someone who talks with your hands, try to make it a very meaningful gesture if you have to use your hands, but otherwise maybe sit on your hands, whatever can help to eliminate distractions. And then getting that contact information from the recruiter. Kathleen, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, these are all really, really good points to remember. I think, speaking clearly and sometimes a little bit slower is helpful when you're on video. I know we're all kind of starting to be pros at speaking over video, but just be thoughtful about really maybe over enunciating some of your words to make sure that it's really coming through as clearly as possible. And then again, yeah, follow up, follow up, follow up. I can't say that enough. So I'm really glad that that's on this slide to get that contact information, because I think a really good way to think of it is, this is kind of an initial step in your career search. This will probably, the position that you choose after college or for a summer will probably not be the first or last position that you will look for. So you're building your network, and that's a really good way to think about the career fair, that, maybe there aren't opportunities at Sun Life that you're interested in right now, but there might be in 5 years. And, guess what? You've already met me and you know me, so you can reach out to me when those opportunities arise. And that is ultimately the key to really strong career progression, is having a strong network to go back to.
And also, it's very important not to forget that you're on Zoom. So don't
Yes.
feel like you're bored or start twirling your hair,
Mhm.
or just, sometimes people will like play with their faces and stuff. You want to keep your hands in front of you. And like, as you can tell, I like to talk with my hands, but if you're doing it, only if you're emphasizing a point, make sure to smile. As I like to say, you don't want to look like you had Botox. You want to make sure that you're engaged, that you're friendly, that you're interested, and you're not like, well, yeah, I'm really looking for an internship and I've heard about your company and it sounds interesting. You don't want to put them to sleep. I'm not saying that you jump off the chair, but you really want to, if you have to, practice smiling. Not everybody is an extrovert like I am, but at this point, if you're meeting on a one-on-one, you got to try harder to sort of be engaging and smile. And remember that you're on camera, especially if you're in a group situation and the camera's on. You don't want to look bored because they can see all the faces and stuff. So you want to be, animated, interested, and you really want to show that you're interested in talking to this person about an internship or a job.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll add just one more thing. If you are in a one-on-one and for some reason you're not able to have your camera on for whatever reason that might be, that's okay. Just say, I have to keep my camera off if you don't mind, and let the recruiter know. That way they're not waiting for you to turn it on, and we're kind of acknowledging it, and then you can move on. But we're all human. We're all in a number of different uh, places where we're working, where we're trying to be quiet. So, we understand, and recruiters are going through a lot of the same things. So I think just kind of being open about, if you can't have your camera on, if there's a little noise in the background, you can always just say, I apologize for that noise, and just move on. Don't let it get distracting.
That's wonderful. Wonderful advice. Thank
Thank you,
you. And
Kathleen.
yeah, and I was just gonna say, one time I heard someone once say, like, if you smile, people naturally smile back at you. So that can also just help break the ice
Yeah.
a little bit when you go in, and at the very least, your name, your major, have a
Yep.
smile, and it'll go from there. Some additional, well, here, speaking of smiling, actually,
Mhm.
we went ahead, remember to smile, right? Use the inflection that we were talking about earlier in your voice to really show your enthusiasm, your excitement. and just helps you to be as genuine as possible. We talked about eye contact already, never hurts to mention it again. Taking notes. The nice thing, in a moment, Bill's going to talk about thank you notes. So if you have some notes from your conversation, you have something to reference in that thank you note, or in your cover letter, right? If the employer says, please apply, you can then pull from that conversation. And just as Kathleen said, what are those next steps? You can find out from the employer what the exact process should be. And in a moment, Bill's going to talk about thank you email. So I'm not going to go too much into that right yet. And, remember LinkedIn. I think Kathleen made an excellent point. Maybe 5 years from now, you might be interested in something that's there. So you're going to have that connection on LinkedIn. It's solid, it's there. So I think that's a huge benefit. And we will be here, the Office of Career Services. One big benefit for even those who are graduating, you can come back forever for free for our services. So we're here every step of the way during the event and after. Any additional comments on this slide, or we'll jump into next steps with Bill?
So you definitely should be writing a thank you note within 24 hours. You thank them for their time. You mentioned something that you discussed in the 10-minute conversation. It's important that you show that I'm still very interested. I want to work for your, I want to do an internship with your company. Mention something like Kathleen maybe mentioned before, something about their mission statement. What I like to say is who they work with, who they're helping. You want to mention something that's beyond the website. So you want to make sure you send that within, and it doesn't have to be a long involved. It's very short, 3 to 4 lines. You're just re-emphasizing that it was a pleasure to meet them, that you're very interested, but the important thing is if you make sure you're sending this from your UMass email address. That will stand out, because if they've talked to a lot of people and they get a Gmail or an iCloud or an AOL or a Hotmail, they may not remember. But if it's the email is coming from UMass, they're like, oh yes, I spoke to this person. Now it clicks in my head. So definitely use it. You should be having your UMass email address on your resume. They may ask you to send your resume, so you want to make sure that you attach it. But it's basically send that email right away. Some people say, well, do I write a letter? Well, I would say send an email. It goes fast. It's right there. They could be doing 3 career fairs in 1 day or 3 days. So you want to make sure that you send it, that you, again, mention your skills. Don't just say I'm interested, but I can bring this to the table. This is the difference that I would be a strong asset to your team, a valuable addition. You want to come across as confident and strong when you're writing that short but brief thank you email.
Yes.
Kathleen, would you like to add something that I forgot?
No, I think you covered everything. And I would say, feel free to attach your resume just in the follow-up thank you note. That doesn't hurt at all.
Thank you, Kathleen. So here's an example. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me at UMass Boston Virtual Career Expo. I enjoyed speaking with you at the event and discussing my project in blank, blank, blank. I'm very interested in the whatever type of intern at the name of the company. Always remember to put the name of the company. That's very valuable. And, I appreciate the opportunity to interview, and then you would put your phone number and your email. But again, it's not a long email. It's very short and concise. Who, what, where, when, and why. You're answering these questions, and like Jen and Kathleen said, attach your resume. They may not ask for it, but it's good to attach it.
Yeah, if you did apply for the position as well, go ahead and indicate that in this message and just say I was able to apply for the position we talked about last night. I look forward to hearing back. And that way that stuff is already done. And it kind of shows that you followed the next steps, instructions that the recruiter might have given you.
Great. Thank you. And now keep track of everybody you talk to in the application. So one, if somebody calls you, you can reference where you applied, who your connection was, save the job descriptions, mark it all. So one, as you move forward, you have reference. But two, if you have any difficulties and you come to career services, we can see what you've done and how we can work together to add on new approaches. So definitely stay organized, mark down who you talked to, what you talked about in Excel or any system similar to Excel that you're comfortable with, Google Docs, whatever it may be, so you can stay organized as you move forward. And look at this column P here, follow up. When do you want to follow up? What are those next steps? Don't just send it. Kathleen, do you have any recommendations on follow-up? Do you have a guideline or?
Yeah, I think following up, yeah, as quickly as you can is helpful. If you apply for the position, if you don't hear back right away, if you spoke with somebody about that role at the career fair, feel free to follow up with them. I always tell students, you know what, send an email. If you, hopefully you hear back. If you don't, that's okay. It's just an email that was sent, so it never hurts to follow up. Check in on LinkedIn. What I would also add, let's say that you aren't selected for the position, or you interview and you're not chosen. Don't count that company out forever. Make a note of that. Make a note of when you talk to them of the role that you interviewed for, and ask the recruiter for feedback if you're interested in another position in the future. What should you look for? Continue to keep that contact and stay in touch with somebody. I think kind of the job search and networking, it's the long game. You have to continue to stay engaged in order to really make use of those connections when you need to.
Great. So some final tips. Don't just register for the expo, register for the individual and the group sessions. You can see the employers, you can pick your time. That is your time. The huge benefit of the virtual sessions, it is not interrupted. When you think of when we used to be on campus, that big ballroom, distractions everywhere, noise everywhere, this is you and the recruiter. So an amazing time to have that one-on-one conversation. So practicing, being confident, look in the mirror, practice what you're going to wear, research employers so you can have that baseline for your conversation, plan your professional dress, and coming back to that setup, a quiet place. We don't always have total control of our environment. So I really appreciated Kathleen talking about what to do if you couldn't have your camera on, how to explain that. I think that was wonderful to hear your perspective as an employer. And asking your housemates or anybody else you may live with to limit internet when possible while you're on the event. So hopefully it doesn't push you offline with lots of use for the internet, and headphones, good lighting, audio, everything that you can test in advance is going to help you the day of. Kathleen, Bill, anything you'd like to add for final thoughts?
Nope. I would just emphasize sign up for the individual sessions, because that gives you a chance at a one-on-one session where you really can promote yourself and you can learn about the company. And the other thing is, I would suggest that, we always say this when we have the in-house ones, you can practice on different companies. You may want to practice on a company that you're not really interested in, but just to get over those first few hurdles of feeling comfortable. And you may learn something from a company that you didn't think you were interested, but after meeting them, you might be interested. But be conscious of who you are, how you're presenting yourself, look professional, and as I like to say, smile until it hurts, because they want to see someone who's engaging. And again, believe in yourself, respect yourself, be authentic of where you came from, how you got where you're going, and validate everything through your experience, your enthusiasm, and your education, and you'll do well. That's what I'd like to say. Thank you.
Yeah. All really good content. I agree with everything Bill and Jen have said so far. Be confident and just go for it. It's a 3-hour session. Take advantage of that time and meet with as many people as you can, even if it's maybe a company you think you're not interested in. Like Bill mentioned, you might be surprised about what you learn and what that company has to offer. So certainly don't count any companies out when you're meeting with them. And enjoy it, have fun. There's nothing to be nervous about, or meeting with somebody. We're really here to get to know you as employers. We came to UMass Boston because we want to meet you. So take advantage of that time.
And like Jen said, we're going to have a room on Handshake that you can come in and say, if you get nervous or you need some help with an elevator speech, or what do I say, we're going to be in this help room throughout the day through Handshake.
Yes. So huge thank you to Kathleen from Sun Life Financial. Your advice was just wonderful to hear from the employer perspective, someone who would be hiring UMass Boston students. It was great to hear. Kathleen will be at the Career Expo, so you can sign up for her sessions. And we're looking forward to seeing everyone next week. We're going to stay on for questions, resume reviews. We also have another session tomorrow to prepare resumes, and anything we can do, we're happy to help. Any last final closing thoughts?
Kathleen, thank you so much. Your advice is golden because Jen and I can talk, but they hear it from an employer and sometimes it sticks in their head longer. Like, oh my God, Kathleen said so much important stuff. I'm glad I wrote this down. So thank you. It was a pleasure to work with you this afternoon, and thank you for all your highlights and sharing all your wisdom with us. It's greatly appreciated. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, super happy to be here. And if anybody's interested, like Jen mentioned, I will be at the career fair. So I would love to meet with you. Welcome to reach out to me with any follow-up questions. I'm more than happy to be a part of your network going forward.